Okay, thank you, Aaron, and thanks to all of you for attending our session today. Um, so my job is to just give you a bit of an overview of the programs that we're offering, and then we'll turn it over to Michael to talk about more about the exciting career opportunities and professional aspects of the discipline. So, so the first thing I'll mention is that so this is a graduate level. These are graduate level programs. These are not your traditional graduate research-based programs. You won't be writing a thesis or anything like that. Rather, these are sort of MBA style professional course-based programs where we're going to give you some advanced intensive training within a year, basically, in the subject. The programs are intended for professionals or recent graduates who are either intending to sort of pivot their focus a little bit, in this case to information security and privacy, or to bolster their credentials and expertise in the area to give them a leg up in the job market. Um, why information security and privacy? Well, I think I'm sure all of you are aware that this is a big ongoing concern in our society. We hear about, in particular, ransomware attacks. I think are one of the big ongoing concerns these days. And there's always attacks and breaches happening. And in fact, there's also a huge need for well-trained people to work in this area to help protect us from these threats. So the job market is great to get into. I'm sure Michael will talk about how awesome a career it is. One thing I love about it is that it never goes stale. There's always new threats to talk about. It's not something that you're going to be out of a job. It's going to drive. This is going to be going on for unfortunately quite a while. So it's a great job to have and huge need for it. What's unique about our program? So as it says, we aim to be an industry leader in Canada. Basically, a couple of things about our program are that we offer, we'll see in a bit, really exceptional breadth in the training that we offer. We're not focused on a particular technology or skill. We're meaning to give you a good broad-based education in the discipline so that you can go off and be a leader in industry after you complete it. It's taught by world-renowned experts in the area who are connected with industry. What else did I want to say about that? And yes, and another unique aspect of this, a lot of training programs don't have the focus on privacy that we have. In our view, information security and privacy go hand in hand, and the fact that we cover both to a large depth is something that really sets us apart. Now, oh, next slide, please, Stephanie. I tried to hit the button in advance of myself. I'm so conditioned to doing that. But, here's the programs that we have in particular. So we have three certificate programs. These are graduate credentials in their own right. Each certificate consists of 4 courses that you have to complete. Our next offerings are starting in September 2021. We'll be offering certificates in network security and data privacy. We do have a third certificate on the books in software security that we'll offer in sometime in the future as well. So again, each of those certificates consists of 4 courses. We'll be offering 2 in the fall and 2 in winter 2022. I think the most exciting program that we're offering is our master's program in information security and privacy. So our master's program consists basically of 2 of the certificates. You complete a total of 8 of our courses. And then we follow it by another exciting aspect of our program, an internship or a capstone project. So we will have you working with the company, and as with most good internship programs, we hope that this will lead you to a permanent employment afterwards. Okay. Next slide, please, Stephanie. Okay. So a little bit about each of the 2 certificates we're offering first. So course is in the data privacy certificate. The first 2 courses are the ones that will be offered in the fall. So these are courses on policy, standards, and programs and private data management. So what you're seeing here is a good example of the breadth and diversity that we're offering in our training. So people who work in these areas recognize that this is not just a technical sort of solution. We're not going to solve all our problems by saying, for example, we'll just encrypt all the data in the database. There are policies and procedures, first of all. There's a human element. And in particular for data privacy, there's a lot of really important regulations and laws that govern how you handle how you have to handle data. So we aim to teach you some of those skills and a bit of the landscape on that side of things, as well as the technical details of how do you actually manage the data itself. In the winter, we follow this up by a privacy and design lab. So in addition to the theoretical sort of human aspects of this, we are going to drill down with you, and you will do some very hands-on things in a special design lab to get good hands-on experience at working with the technologies. Applied cryptography is one of the options in the data privacy certificate. So you can either take that one or a topics in data privacy course, which I think is going to be on additional technological tools for managing problems in data privacy. Both of these are fundamental technical sort of components in the discipline that you'll have a chance to take as well. Next slide, please, Stephanie. The network security course or certificate is structured similarly. So in the fall, we have an ethical hacking lab, again, giving you a really good extensive hands-on training with tools involved in penetration testing and how to defend against people trying to break into your network. Similarly, network security, there's a lot of policies and procedures and regulatory things that are involved in a sort of a good overall policy in how you manage your security. So it's important to learn that. We offer 2 courses in the fall. You can pick one or the other one to satisfy the requirements for the certificate. Then in the winter, we move on to some more of the technical tools. Applied cryptography, again, it's fundamental technology underlying just about anything you need to do in information security and privacy. And also another course is specifically targeted to tools for network security. Okay, next slide, please, Stephanie. And then finally, after the fall and winter terms in spring and summer, you would either do a internship. That's sort of the preferred route, that you'll do a practicum with a company, hopefully leading to permanent employment afterwards. We do also have an option if for some reason you don't want to do that, you can do a capstone project under our guidance here at the University of Calgary. So these programs, as you see again, are designed to cover a good breadth of policies, human aspects to technological aspects, as well as giving you a good bunch of interactive hands-on training here at the university. This is indeed one reason why we decided to wait until fall to start this instead of starting it up in the winter. We're sort of cautiously optimistic that COVID will mostly be kind of run its course by then, and that we won't be doing this interactive. We'll be able to bring everybody onto campus and work with you in person in our labs and on a lot of these exciting and fun topics. Okay. Next slide, please, Stephanie. Okay, so what do you need to get into the program? So the minimum admission grade point average is 3.0, and the technical expertise that we've identified as being essential to doing this are some of the basic things that you would get in your first 3 years of computer science. So some computer programming ability is essential. I mean, for these hands-on lab courses, you're going to be working on machines and doing stuff, so that's important. Understanding basic algorithms and data structures like CPSC 331 or 319 is sort of core to this as well. And then finally, if you're going to get into the nuts and bolts of information security like we want you to be able to do, you need to know something about how computer operating systems work, and certainly for networks, the basics of a computer network. So our 457 and 441 courses are important to this. If you have a computer science undergrad degree, it's automatic, you have the requirements pretty much. If you aren't studying computer science, you should talk to us anyway. I mean, there are other ways to satisfy these requirements. This is the easiest and preferred way, but we can work with you and help you, guide you to what you could do to get trained up in order to do this. So please, admission questions, direct them to prograd.science@ucalgary.ca, and we will work with you to answer your questions on that. Next slide, please, Stephanie. Okay, another question people ask often is sort of what the format of the program is. So So as I mentioned earlier, the classes will start in fall 2021, so next year. You can enroll on a full-time or part-time basis. If you're full-time, you will complete 4 courses in the fall, 4 courses in the winter. Part-time, I think, Stephanie or Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, and I believe you have up to 2 years to complete the whole course requirement or so. So you can spread it out a little bit if you want to do this in a part-time model.
Yeah.
I got it right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, and the courses are all designed to be in person for 1 intensive week. So the way that we're offering these is each course has 1 week where you're there basically from 9 to 5 with intensive interactive sessions with an instructor. Following that, there are about 2 or 3 weeks where you're going to complete the coursework. So we'll have some assignments, maybe some small projects for you to work on to demonstrate your mastery of the material. So, for example, the ISEC 643 class will have the lectures from September 6th through 10th, 9 to 5, and then all your coursework will be due at the end of the month of September. Then in October, we'll do the 2nd course, 3rd one in November, 4th one in December, and the winter term will run pretty much the same way. Okay? Your instructor will, of course, be there during the intensive week of lectures and will be available to help you and answer questions about the coursework during the subsequent weeks up to the final deadline. Okay. The next slide, please, Stephanie. And so here's the schedule, what we're looking at for the fall. So we'll begin with ISEC 643. They give you the sort of big picture, the overview, policy standards, and programs in the area. So we'll be followed up immediately, get you excited and working in the hands-on ethical hacking lab, learning about ins and outs of penetration testing. 3rd course in November will be private data management, and we'll finish this with governance and risk management. Next slide, please, Stephanie. And the winter, the 1st course will be applied cryptography. I'll follow this by topics and data privacy. Again, the topic here, I think, is going to be privacy-preserving technologies. So special techniques and protocols designed to handle data privacy issues. 3rd course will be the Privacy by Design Lab. Again, the intensive hands-on laboratory experience, getting practical work with a lot of these tools. And the final course will be the network security course. And then again, starting in May, you'll either do the capstone course or preferably an internship with a local company. Okay. Next slide, please, Stephanie. Yeah, and I think that's a quick and dirty overview of what the program is, how it runs, what you'll learn in it. And I think at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Michael to talk a little bit about the exciting opportunities that you can do in the area once you complete our program. Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Michael, and thank you to the University of Calgary for inviting me to attend today's session. Really excited about University of Calgary's program for 2021. Almost makes me want to go back to school. Yeah, so basically I am a principal consultant for online security or online business systems in their risk, security, and privacy practice. We internally refer to it as cybersecurity. I am the past president of ISC Squared Alberta, and also now past president. We had our elections last week of Security Professionals Information Exchange. However, I am on both boards and staying on as in a role of past president, and will probably help out with different activities and programs within both boards. My passion is really governance, risk, and compliance. So I really enjoy working in that space, really enjoy working with people and processes within cybersecurity. I feel that technology is only a small part of the equation. If you look at many of the breaches that take place, they can usually be traced back to a breakdown in process. It's never really technology that fails us, it's usually people or process that fail. And really that was what kind of triggered me to become interested in cybersecurity in the first place. Um, so how did I get into my line of work and become involved in security professionals information exchange? Well, that's a really great question. Um, Basically, I moved to Calgary in 1999 and was transferred out here working for a large software development company in Toronto. And one of our clients was a company called JAWS. They were a end-to-end software kind of solution provider. They had software development. We developed some industry leading encryption software. We had professional services and technology. So we really covered the full gamut of services. I ended up leaving the company that I was working with and joining JAWS. So in 1999, the cybersecurity landscape was quite a bit different than it is today. Only about 30% of companies in 1999 actually had firewalls. And the firewalls that companies were providing back then would come wide open. So they'd come unhardened. So you would have to spend quite a bit of an effort, probably about 40 hours, just locking those firewalls down. That was also the time when Mafia Boy was on the loose back in 1999, brought down a bunch of e-commerce companies. So it really kind of caught my interest, the cybersecurity market. So I ended up working for a company by the name of JAWS, and there was a local group that kind of caught my eye. They're called SPI, Security Professionals Information Exchange. And just having moved out here from Toronto, I was kind of really interested in networking and getting to know some of my peers in the cybersecurity business. So I started attending these monthly meetings that JAWS would put on, and became quite interested in the cybersecurity market there. I was really impressed with how mature Calgary was compared to Toronto back in 1999. I mean, they had this wonderful group. They had many people that were peers in the industries that were interested in meeting up and networking. And basically, we just meet once a month. It was the last Thursday of every month. And we'd have lunch, and we'd have different speakers come in and talk about different information security related topics. It was kind of very unique and something that I hadn't seen before in Toronto, and was really interested in that. So I got my security certification, my CISP in '03, and then I joined the SPI board. My first term was served as secretary. I served 2 years on the board. Then I had to step off because I just didn't have time. And then again became interested in SPI about, I want to say about 8 years ago, and rejoined the board. So I went through a couple of positions on the board volunteering, and recently served as 2 terms as president or chair, and just recently rolled off the board. So yeah, that was how I became involved in SPI. The prospects in Calgary for information security are really great. Even in light of COVID, I still get requests all the time for people looking for well-qualified people that want to work in information security. So there are many different prospects. It really depends on what area that you really want to specialize in. So there some of the more interesting jobs that I've seen recently have been all in the area of penetration testing, information security kind of management roles, and as well as some GRC roles that I've seen pop up recently. I actually started my career in IT back in the early 90s, right out of post-secondary, went into an internship for a period of a year almost, and I was I was living in Peterborough. I'm working up in Toronto. So it really helped open my eyes and give me some real practical experience. Fortunately, this company hired me right out of the internship program. So I was able to continue on with some of the great work that I did, but it really helped build my confidence as a I guess a security professional, an early IT security professional, and help develop some really solid experience and really solid understanding of the role that IT and IT security play in the business world. So it was a really great experience for me. Next question is, what are the benefits of a graduate credential for breaking into the job market? Well, one of the top things that employers look for are, are credentials. So it really depends on which area of the cybersecurity that you want to work in. We see a lot of I guess, demand for CISP, the Certified Information System Security Professional certification. That seems to be the gold standard in certifications right now. So, and they do have an introductory course, which is their associate designation. So CISSP really is a practitioner's certification. So it's something that you need to work at in the industry for 5 years in order to write the exam to apply for your certification. So what they've done is they've set up kind of an interim role, which is the associate certification. So if that's something of interest to you, then there are paths to actually getting that certification, even though you may not have the necessary credentials to apply for it right off the bat.
So, Michael, what do you think are some of the unique things about our particular program that might be well suited to helping people?
Well, a few things that really caught my eye during Michael's presentation are the policy standards and programs, and also the governance, risk, and compliance aspects of this program. A lot of other programs that I've seen are really more focused on technology, and that's really great. But if you're at all interested in people and process, and really understanding what the standards are and the frameworks behind cybersecurity. I really liked the ISEC 643 policies and standards, as well as the governance, risk, and compliance aspects of your program.
Great. All right. Anything else you think that our visitors here today should know? I kind of put you on the spot there. Sorry.
Yeah, typically when I'm looking to hire somebody for a role, I typically look beyond certifications and look at their actual job experience. And I'm always interested in speaking to people that have perhaps some experience, that are independent, free thinkers, that have maybe some experience in help desk, and really understand the business aspects of cybersecurity.
Absolutely. So what about for our audience, our undergraduate students?
Mhm.
So for a student looking to come in to the job market,
Mhm.
would that change what you were looking for? 'Cause of course, it's that whole chicken and egg. You can't have, it's difficult sometimes to get a job without experience and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's why internship programs are so key. You know, so I look for that level of experience, somebody that maybe has worked for a few companies, even though they may not. It may not be an internship if they have any related experience working in IT. I sort of look for those things as well.
Awesome. Great. Sorry, were you
Yeah.
going to say something? No. Okay. Well, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, now is the time. So the chat function, please feel free to type them in, or that might be the best way, or you can just come on camera and ask away. We'll just give everybody a couple minutes maybe to type or. Okay.
I might want to,
Go ahead.
Aaron, can I just put in a quick plug for Security Professionals Information Exchange?
I don't see why not.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so SPY, we meet, we're a 23-year-old organization. We meet the last Thursday of every month. We take a break over Christmas and over July and August in the summer. So we have 9 sessions per year. We meet on the last Thursday of every month. And right now it's $20 to join. So if you're interested in hearing from some local and international cybersecurity experts and interested in networking with your peers, it's a really great opportunity to meet some people, to network, and learn while you do all of that. We've been doing virtual seminars since April of this year. We hope to be back into doing regular in-person luncheons again, hopefully within the first half of 2021. So if you're interested in learning more about SPY, please visit spie.ca.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really appreciate it. So Mike, Jay, or Ken, would you like to add anything?
Mike, did you want to say anything further?
I guess, so one thing I could mention, Michael was talking about the CISSP certification, so which indeed is an important one in the industry. So should mention that our program, I think, will prepare you to, if you need to do that for your job or for an opportunity, it'll get you a lot of the way there. I don't think we cover everything involved in KISS. For example, if I remember correctly, there's a component on physical security, for instance, that we don't do. But I'm pretty sure after our program, you'll know about probably 80 to 90% of the material that you need to get the KISS.
Yeah. So one of my roles as well is as a registrar for a certification program, if you will. It's not related to cybersecurity, but it is related more generally to IT. And the two things are very different. There's an educational component in a professional certification, and there's an experience component in a professional certification. And the certifications often have exams that you have to write. And I have heard feedback, especially about the CISSP, is that if you write it too early, in other words, you don't have that 5 years of experience that Michael was referring to, you think the thing is way too applied. And if you write it too late, in other words, you've forgotten everything that you ever learned about the foundations, you think it's way too theoretical. So that horizon that Michael mentions is really an important one. You want to get the educational foundation in place and then enrich that with that on-the-job experience so that you can then, after you've acquired that experience, be able to protect the interests of society, which is part of what a certification is really all about. A professional certification is all about. It's about subscribing to ethical practices and behaviors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you'll see that all of this material is going to be covered in the program. But until you actually get out into the quote unquote real world and those ethical questions present themselves, you will wrestle with how you would go about answering those questions. But if you do get to the right point in your career that you go after that CISSP, which is really a designation that you've got both education and experience. That's the point at which the CISSP is really important to you, because it shows that you're a mature member of that profession. So I think the two things work together, but they work in slightly different ways. We don't teach to the CISSP at all. We are conscious of it, we are aware of it, but it is not a course to prepare you to write the CISSP. The only way I'm going to be able to prepare you to write the CISSP is if you do our master's program and then go out and get 5 years of experience, and you'll be fully prepared to do the CISSP. So that's the way to kind of think about that.
Great. I do have a question here in the chat from Maria. She's wondering, when considering students for a job, do you also look for international experience, such as an official exchange program?
Absolutely, we do. And we have a number of consultants that work for our firm that have come here from other countries that have just a wealth of knowledge and experience that they've learned over the years. So yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Excellent. Are there any Haskell equivalents that also apply to the computer science requirements? That might be a question for Carrie and Stephanie, our program coordinators.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, my my sound is not amazing.
No problem. Are there Haskell equivalents that apply to the computer science requirements?
Oh, go ahead, Ken. It looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, so there are a number of courses that are offered in Haskell that would not be considered computer science courses per se, but for the purposes of a professional program like this, would be considered acceptable. In other words, you have sufficient background to be able to get by those 3 checkpoints that Mike highlighted there. I have not memorized the Haskell course numbers. I barely memorized the computer science one, and I've only been here for 20 years. So, but I have seen equivalent courses, and they would certainly be acceptable for this program. We've looked at that. The same is also true of engineering. So if there's any engineers that are on the phone or on the call, there are equivalent engineering courses, either ENSF or ENEL type ECE courses that would be considered for those. And most people who are thinking about this will have probably done those courses already.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. We have been kind of creating a list of pre-approved courses at the University of Calgary, but as our master's program is first starting in fall 2021, we haven't quite got that list to its full capacity yet. So if a student were to say, does this course meet our requirements? Generally, we just look at what our example courses have as their course curriculum and learning outcomes, and then we see if those kind of match, if they overlap. And so that's generally how a student themselves can even see whether their course would be sufficient.
Great, thank you. Another question from Mackenzie. She's wondering about, for the part-time schedule for the program, are there specific programs that will need to be taken first, aside from the first course, or in a specific order? Mike, do you want to take that
Sure.
one? Like Jay?
No, I think the order is designed to be pretty flexible. We're trying our best to have these courses fairly modularized, so that there's no predefined sequence. I think there are maybe some advantages. I mean, one that springs to the top of my head is it's probably beneficial to take applied cryptography before you do network security, for instance, but it's not essential. We aim to be flexible with this.
And on the subject of the courses, wondering if the faculty members here Ken and Mike, can tell us more about the kinds of courses you'll be teaching.
Sure. You want me to go first?
Sure, you go first.
Okay, sure. So, yeah, I guess I should have introduced myself. So I do applied cryptography for my research area and computational mathematics. So in winter 2022, I'll be teaching the applied crypto course. What you'll see there is, so you can talk about cryptography in a lot of different ways. I mean, if a lot of people get excited by the underlying math, which is part of what I like for sure. But our focus there is more about what are the main cryptographic technologies that one needs to sort of work in this area and how you properly apply them. So that's what you'll see in my course. I also see my colleague Renata Scheidler is also here. She also does cryptography, and I get to teach the course this time coming around, but she'll also be teaching the same course at some point in the future as well. So that's the one I do. Ken, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I'll speak to two of the courses that are here. And the first one you're probably going to encounter in the program, which is the ISAC 643 course. That's the course that's on standards, practices, and programs. And we've decided to offer that course first in the sequence, but it's not required to be taken first in the sequence because we walk across a large number of issues related to cybersecurity and privacy. So I've become more and more interested in policy and how to influence public policy around different things, how to write and enforce standards to ensure that best practices are followed by practitioners in cybersecurity and cyber privacy. And so I'll be talking a lot about that. I'll talk a lot about government regulations, which may sound a little bit boring at first blush, but when you think about something like the GDPR, which is the EU's privacy legislation, it's actually telling industry how we have to operate now in terms of how to produce software, how to handle people's data, and what our accountability points are to that. And any practicing computer scientist needs to know this information, or else they will simply not be able to safely practice without significant punitive penalties coming to their company if they don't follow these regulations. So we're going to talk about the importance about that. We're going to talk about how you go about building those things. The second course I'll just mention briefly is the data privacy course. My primary research interest from a technical perspective is in privacy and has been for quite a while. In the interest of full disclosure, I worked for 25 years or so in data analytics, and my whole goal was to violate people's privacy. I became quite good at it. Finally decided I'd better have a shower and figure out what I was doing, and we figured out that there are ways to provide that value to the company in terms of the utility in the data while still protecting individuals' privacy. And that's primarily what my research focuses on at this point. Having said that, my interest is how can we move that out into the practitioner's field. And so this course specifically will talk about applying those understandings that have been acquired over the last 10 or 15 years to building real systems that have real value to companies. And so that's the perspective that we'll probably take in that course. So you'll learn a little bit about how to violate people's privacy, but only so that I can teach you how to go about protecting people's privacy.
Ethical hacking, right, Ken?
So those are the two that I'm going to be doing anyway, so I won't speak to the other courses.
Thank you so much. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Well, let me know if you do, but if not, I think we can wrap it up here. Stephanie, could you go to the next slide just with our email? Oh, perfect. Okay. So if you do have any questions, like I mentioned at the beginning, please contact prograd.science@ucalgary.ca. And Carrie or Stephanie would be happy to help you out with your specific questions. We also have a web page for the program. You've probably seen it. It's got a lot of our frequently asked questions on it. So it's science.ucalgary.ca/information-security. And from there, you'll be able to easily see where to find our FAQ page. So thank you everybody again for joining us this afternoon, and to our special guest. We really appreciate your interest in the program. Thank you very much and have a great afternoon.
Yep. Thanks everybody for attending.
Yeah.
Everybody.